Hey, buddy. Thanks for your patience, man. You doing all right? This baby.
Awesome.
Okay, joining us now, Jimmie Johnson. He drives the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. He's the four-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series defending champion and the 2009 Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year. Jimmie, you have been in the back of the room listening to all this about your dominance here, and quite frankly, it is pretty amazing what you and Denny Hamlin have done. But over the last 8 races, but certainly coming to Martinsville, you have a 41-point lead. Your thoughts about racing here on Sunday?
Yeah, you know, we're excited to be back at Martinsville. It's been a great track for the 48 team over the years. There's a certain rhythm to this track that it took me a while to figure out, but once I found the rhythm, things have been really good for me here, and it's just a fun place to race. It can be frustrating at times, there's no doubt about that, but when you get in the right rhythm and things are clicking off like you'd hope, you can have a lot of fun on this racetrack. So it's cool. I'm glad to be back, and we'll just see how the weekend unfolds.
Questions for Jimmie. Who's got the first one? Got Tom, Dustin, Jim.
Hi, Jimmie. Tom Jensen, Speed.com. Obviously, you and Denny have owned this track, won, I think, 8 in a row between the two of you. If you guys run close to each other, no matter who wins, if you run close to each other, does the momentum of the chase stay the same, or does one of you have to win and one of you have to have a real bad day for that to change? That makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of hype coming into this race, but at the end of the day, I mean, when we leave here, there's still 4 races left, and there's so many points to be won or lost in those 4 races, and I still can't stress it enough that Talladega can equal this whole thing up, and it's an 8-car race or 10-car race for the championship. So at this point, it's really about doing the best job I can here and getting as many points as possible. And if that's 8th, then so be it. You know, we did all we could, and we finished 8th, and we have to go to Talladega and do our best there. I'm not going to get caught up in worrying about one guy. It's just not worth it at this point. After we get out of Talladega, a more clear strategy kind of then unfolds, and we know who we really need to race and what to do from there. We're hopefully in a position to protect. You know, that's a position I want to be in. I want to leave here with the win. There's no doubt about that. I want to go to Talladega and win that race. But you just don't know. And I just want to keep a realistic approach to all this and just score every point I can. And then after Talladega, I know what I need to do at that point.
Let's go Dustin, Jim, and Ned.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Jimmie, with how much you've raced Denny at this track for wins and been around him so much, is it tough to come up with a different move to keep him behind you, or to come up with a different move to get around him, per se? Almost like basketball players who play each other constantly, they get to know each other's moves intimately. Is it almost kind of like that with you and Denny at this place, and hard to come up with something different?
Yeah, I mean, so much of it depends on how a particular driver's car is handling when you get to them. You know, there's certain things you do when you catch someone that has a tight race car or a loose race car. So it's really hard to say that there's one particular move. In a way, I find it's kind of easy coming here because I know I need to have the best car I can. I mean, it's not like you're going to beat the 11, it's not just the 11, but I think the RCR cars have shown a lot of speed here. My teammate Jeff is really good at this track. You know that you can't compromise and just sit on, we're close. So it makes it easy. You need to make sure your stuff is right, and that's our goal today and tomorrow.
All right, we'll go with Jim, Ned, and the gentleman far back right. Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Utter, Show Observer. Jimmie, could you describe if it's not actual, perhaps the mental or psychological advantage of being in the points lead as the chase gets winding down, and as a statement of fact that if the other people contending have to beat you at some point, have to finish better than you at some point in order to win, is there some advantage of knowing that? I mean, even if you're up by 4 or 40 or 100.
Yeah, there definitely is an advantage. And I've said this before. I think that the teams are strong enough, the drivers are fast enough that a 4-point lead really isn't going to intimidate anyone. The larger the points lead, the better that can happen. I think the thing that really sends the largest statement is how you've been running lately. And I think that the worst we've been since New Hampshire has been third. I think that sends a statement, and that works in our favor. If it's really in their heads right now, it's hard to say. I mean, there's still 5 races left, and I think all of us drivers look at it and say, taking 5 races to get to this point, certainly 5 races could swing it the exact opposite direction. So it's a little too early, I think, for anyone to fret all that much. I could be wrong, and I hope that I am, because I'll take any advantage that I could possibly get. But I think here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we are able to keep running like we are, then that will start to work for us. But I just think it's a little early yet.
You've been on the other side, trying to come back. Did you have a different perspective? Did you say, like, I have to go with that guy?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, if you're way out, we just need to win races. If there's just a couple guys you're worrying about, your focus gets more narrow, and you really focus on 2 or 3 cars and where they're at. So it changes all the time. And then the other thing I'm guilty of, just as anyone else, is you never want to give up, and you always want to have hope that you can come back. So even if the situation is terrible, you and your team are building around something, and you're not going to go down without a fight, and you're going to do everything that you can, and you find a way to be optimistic, and you find a way to find some hope. So I think that also kind of plays into we're only 5 races, we're only halfway into this thing. There's a lot of guys with a lot of hope, and they should. There's a lot of racing left. And that's, I guess, why I don't have any earth-shattering statements at this point, because there's just a lot of racing left.
We'll go Ned, gentleman on the far right, and then Chad.
Jimmie, Ned Thigpen, Win Sports. I want to ask you real quick, about the pressure. You're coming in, obviously leading the way for another championship. Talk to me about the pressure from your viewpoint at this point, based on the number of championships you already had under your belt. What's it like this year? Is it different this year versus the last few championships that you've won? I mean, talk a little bit about that, if you would. Yeah,
I think that each championship has helped me be more confident in my abilities, what my team's capable of. There's probably some other emotions wrapped up into it that all lead to the fact that I'm much more relaxed fighting for this championship than I have any other championship in my life. So experience really helps out a lot. And I've enjoyed these 5 races more than I did the last year and the year before and so on. So I feel like I'm in a really good place where some guys that are fighting for their first championship, there's so much on it. And I've been there, so I know exactly what those feelings are like. I feel like it's helpful for me to be this relaxed and to to come in and to not obsess over things during the week, and to come into the track with a fresh mind and a ton of energy and go to work. So I hope that the experience really gives me an upper hand through the championship battle.